Hands down, this is the quickest way to rust metal. And all you need is muriatic acid and hydrogen peroxide. You want to get yourself a couple of spray bottles, one for the acid and one for the peroxide. Now, a little secret about the acid. Once you use your spray bottle with the acid, make sure that you clean the sprayer. If not, the acid will eat away the internal components and your spray bottle won't be any good anymore. Another way to apply the acid is with a paintbrush. And because you're using acid, make sure that you use gloves, a respirator, and eye protection. So for the metal prep on this water feature, it was cleaned with lacquer thinners and then gone over with a orbital sander just to kind of make it an even surface. And now Rob is going through and spraying muriatic acid onto the water feature so it'll eat away any other impurities. Rob is at a slight disadvantage because he doesn't have hair on the top of his head. So it's probably stinging just a little bit right now. Just like his hands. Might be stinging just a little bit.
We don't have any gloves.
Folks, it's muriatic acid. You want to make sure you be careful. As you can see, Rob's got a respirator on. He's got safety glasses on. He's got the welding sleeves on to protect his arms and his shoulders. Technically, you kind of want to wear gloves as well. Any other type of head protection that you might need. Do it outdoors in a open air, ventilated area. As you may or may not have seen in my other videos, when you do this in an enclosed area, the fumes alone will rust everything in your shop. I'll put a link at the top corner here, what happened to my shop and a sculpture of metal wings that I was working on.
There.
So once you get the entire project or item, product, water feature saturated with acid, then you're going to come back and spray hydrogen peroxide. Now this is just regular hydrogen peroxide that's off the shelf. It's the 3%. And this is one of the fastest rusting methods that I know of. So if you're in a hurry to get something rusted, then make sure that you use the acid and the peroxide. As you can see in the top, it's already starting to discolor. I mean, it is instantaneous. Now, if you go and you lay this project down, you won't get any of the drips, but we kind of like that in the design. Now, you can add as much hydrogen peroxide as you want to get the effect that you're looking for, but if you go back after it's rusted with the acid, it's going to wipe away that rust. So Rob's going to go around and basically put on a coat of hydrogen peroxide over that acid and then keep spraying that hydrogen peroxide in areas that are needed. And we'll do a close-up here in just a second where you'll be able to see at some of the top areas where there was a little bit more acid, so it started to run just a little bit. And that's normal. But you can go back with the peroxide, hit that area, and it'll rust it right up. For us, the key is speed. Get this thing done as quickly as possible because we're in direct sunlight, so the heat of the sun is heating that metal, which instantly dries the acid, which is why you kind of see on the bottom right corner down there why it's actually turned kind of a white powdery color. That's just the acid drying. This works on mild steel. It does not work on stainless. It doesn't work on aluminum. It doesn't work on galvanized metal. In order to get galvanized metal rusted, you need to remove the galvanization. Now I've had some luck pouring muriatic acid into a plastic bag
and taking a piece of stainless and placing it in that bag, and the fumes over time will start to eat away at that stainless. But it's a very long process. So as you see, within a matter of like minutes, you go from a mild steel water feature to a rusted water feature. And as long as you leave this on without rinsing it off, that rust will continue to darken and streak and add character. And before you know it, you have got one sexy water feature. Rob's not looking too bad himself. I guess it's been a long day in the shop already. So as you can see, it really leaves some cool color patterns. And so like I mentioned before, sometimes the area of acid will continue to drip and it'll wipe away, but you can go back in with the peroxide and you can touch that up a little bit. Now we'll leave this out here for most of the day and just kind of let it just do its thing before we bring it into the shop. We'll rinse it down. That way we're not bringing any acid into the shop, but it will have gotten the patina that we are looking for on this water feature. All right, so this has been actually sitting outside for a couple of hours, and now Rob is going to go ahead and rinse this sucker off. And that way, when we bring it back into the shop later on today, we won't have any muriatic acid lingering around.
Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. It is greatly appreciated. If you haven't subscribed, please do so now. If you have any comments or have another way that you think is faster to rust metal, leave those in the comments down below. And I'd like to give a huge shout out to my Patreon supporters: John Leddington, Barry and Marlene Rush, Funkiss Artistic Creations, and Judy Clothier. We'll see you in the next video.